Good day everyone, welcome to another episode of Smart Gardening. This time I will explain to you the tips on how to use pesticides, because pesticides are very important. But before that, I would like to say thank you sa ating mga subscribers, sa ating mga ka-YouTubers. Thank you very much sa pag-subscribe po ninyo sa ating channel, and please continue to subscribe with us, and we will promise to bring you more smart tips on gardening. So how to use pesticides. How to use pesticides? Because pesticides are very important in our garden. Because if we will not use pesticides, many insects, many kind of pests that will attack our plants, and they will eat our plants, and we will not have very good growth of the plants that we have, because they will be destroyed by this different pests. So how to use the pesticides? Read warnings and directions. So once you receive the pesticides, try to look at the packaging. There are packagings that give you the warning signs, and then the what kind of hazards that they will bring, and then the steps that you are going to use on how to use the pesticides. It is complete with instructions. So read the instructions very, very carefully. Okay, so when you read the warnings and directions, follow the directions completely. Do not miss any of the precautions. Why? Because it's very dangerous. Pesticides are very dangerous to the life of a person. It will mean loss of life. Observe warning. If overlooked, it is very dangerous for your life. That's why these pesticides are poisons. They will kill the pests and insects in our plants. But there is also danger that it will kill human life and also our pet animal. Stay in well-ventilated area to avoid suffocation while mixing. There are pesticides that require combining them in container before it is taken to the market or package. So the purpose of mixing in a well-ventilated area is to let open air came to prevent suffocation. Why? Because the air, if contaminated already with pesticides, it has a harmful effect to the body. We will breathe it, inhale it, and it will get inside our body and destroy our internal organs. Cover your hands with thick gloves when you use these pesticides. Wear rubber gloves that are thick and avoid direct contact to pesticides. It's very important, because when the pesticides will come in contact with you, the poison in it will also enter your body. Store pesticides tightly in its original containers. For proper identification of pesticides, to avoid being mistaken as other product, and to maintain tight container that fits the structure of pesticides, because the contents of the pesticides are different. Sometimes it will not fit a container, especially if the container is made up of light materials. Then it cannot carry the pressure or the elements, the contents of the pesticides. So store pesticides in their original containers. Okay? So these are the examples of the pesticides on how to store it. Place pesticides away from sunlight, because sunlight affects chemical composition of pesticides that may reduce its effectiveness. Well-ventilated area, avoid building up of pressure inside the container that may cause explosion of the pesticides. There will be pressure inside the container of the pesticides, and it will cause it to explode. So this is the proper way of how to empty the container of pesticides. Wash empty containers of pesticides and wrap or put it in a box before throwing them. Being a responsible user of these harmful chemicals, we have to dispose it also responsibly so that it will not cause harm to other people and to the environment. Remove foods, utensils, pets, and their dishes before spraying indoors. Why? Because the utensils, the pets, the dishes will contaminate the pesticides, and once the pets will eat on their containers, then there is a danger that they will also take the pesticides in it, and it will cause harmful effect to their body. There is a danger of contamination and people's intake of poison in the contaminated foods. Contaminated utensils may also carry the poison to users. So be very careful about the removing of these dishes before you spray, especially indoors. So you have to keep all the dishes, you have to keep all the utensils. If you spray inside, you have to keep all those things so that they will not be contaminated. Keep pesticides away from children or pets. Why? Because they might use it and mistakenly they will be contaminated. Avoid reach of children who will play with pesticides and cause harm to them. There should be a proper place to keep the pesticides away from the children. If possible, you have to keep a storeroom outside your house. And it is properly locked. So, personal protection equipment, clothing, eye protection, gloves, respiratory protection to keep you away or protected with the use of the pesticides. Avoid smoking, eating, drinking, or chewing gum while spraying. You have to wear mask, no? So it's impossible for you to eat. And when you smoke, you may also inhale the poison. Poison in the air during the spray may contaminate the food and drink. That's why you have to keep yourself or avoid eating while spraying. Avoid inhaling sprays. Inhaling sprays enable intake of poison into the body that will endanger the internal organs. Industrial masks should be used to enable better protection, because it is manufactured or made for that purpose, so it is thicker compared to the ordinary mask. Store pesticides away from food. Why? It could be mistaken and taken as food. It can be mistaken as ingredient also in cooking food. It's very dangerous. So this is the proper way of keeping those pesticides in our house. Throw or dispose pesticides in places where they could not destroy animals and environment. Bury pesticides in the soil or look for better disposal because it is safe there. Irresponsible disposal of pesticides will contaminate the water and kill the fish. Wildlife also suffers when pesticides are dumped in their habitat. So be a responsible user of pesticides. Avoid entering a treated room after it has been sprayed. Why? Because the chemical is still there, it's still floating in the air, and there is a danger that you can inhale the chemicals, which is poisonous. Also, these are our tips on how to use pesticides, especially if we are having our plants, to protect our plants in our garden. So these are the tips that you should follow in order that harms can be prevented. We would like our plants to be free of the pest, but of course we have to be very careful that we will not harm other human being or other pets or animals. So with that, I would like to say thank you and stay tuned to more smart tips in gardening by Mami Elsa. Thank you very much and good day to everyone.